the movies?
Well, you didn't have to. What it is that the costume that they had in the film was the version of the costume he was wearing when Joker killed him.
I see. Seems like it'd be a real good storyline to run.
One would think,
right?
Which
and
yeah,
there's a lot that they're trying to pull off. Even the story that they're doing now and how they're doing it's not what I would have personally done, but
no, this is the influence of the studio. They want to sell. Look, DC Comics, unlike Marvel, has been a part of Warner Brothers since the late 1970s. It was fully absorbed as part of a major conglomerate. So they don't see it as an entity so much as just a library for them to pick stuff from when they want to make movies and whatever else. That is the full extent of what they treat DC like. Versus Marvel, that had already formed Marvel Studios before Disney bought them. So they have the power to be able to say, hey, we want to make this. And having someone like Robert Iger and Alan Horn, they're just pretty much two guys that's like, look, we don't care what you do. As long as the fans are happy and you bring in cash, we're cool, whatever you do. You start losing money, then we'll have to come in and, we're going to do some stuff you won't like.
All right, so we got one Ben Affleck. What else we got?
I've always liked Michael Keaton. Might be because of nostalgia, but I feel like he kind of captured the eccentric nature.
He could have been a little darker.
Yeah.
And you can only say that now.
Yeah. Batman's
he was pretty dark for the time, dude.
Okay.
I'm probably a little older than you guys.
Michael Keaton played a really good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Really solid Bruce Wayne.
I was going to be my next question. Hang on.
Yeah. I don't know if I really have a favorite. I enjoy most of them. I won't say all of them. Christian Bale was fun. The first movie he was in the series was fun. He brought more of a physical combat action side to it, which is great. I'm not sold on the voice necessarily, even though our actor in the show loves to
swear to me,
play with that voice in the show.
Michael Keaton.
You have all the knowledge of all of the Batman.
All of them.
So
I like them all.
Really?
From the first one, from the first one all the way to Affleck. They all provide something.
You did not like Val Kilmer.
I was about to say, we all agree that Val Kilmer is everybody's least favorite.
I'm not the one that keeps bringing up Val Kilmer. You do. I think you got something against the dude. I'm just saying, there's a comic book writer that came up with an interesting theory.
He wasn't even tall enough to be Batman. There was so much about that. It was just wrong.
Pretty short, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, but he wore it in such a way that you didn't even notice.
In fact, Ben Affleck is the tallest person to have ever portrayed Batman.
He's like 6'1".
Michael Keaton is roughly about my height. Because I was almost a stand-in for him in a movie in New York once.
See? Look at you. Mr. Experience.
Yeah, it's almost Michael Keaton's stunt double. I mean, no big deal, right?
So, exciting news. And I have so many exciting things to talk about today, but exciting news. Right, I think after you guys, because you guys' show was like a week from today.
Correct.
24th?
21st?
21st. Right after that, on the 25th, there's some exciting stuff happening at the Comic Cave. One of our dear friends, amazing writer, and he's done so much. Colin Bunn is going to be there with Jimmy Johnson from 10 to 7, signing autographs on their new stuff. Keith, you and I had a chance to talk to Cullen. Have you seen the amount of work that man has put out here lately?
Just come on out and meet someone that's actually worked for DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and is a fantastic writer in his own right. This guy, I think, is still the best writer that they ever had when they did the individual Magneto series.
Yes.
And he could write Deadpool, too. Anybody that can do that.
He's actually working on Deadpool now, isn't he?
Yeah, well, off and on.
Well, because I literally saw his name on something.
Yeah, well, he's too busy doing independent stuff that Hollywood keeps trying to adapt.
Yes.
So, I mean...
I still think the thing with Six Gun is coming out soon, isn't it?
No. Well, the game.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, I would love to see a certain network get into the whole thing with him with the Six Gun. Because that would be perfect as a network series.
Oh, yeah. You think it would be... I mean, it was episodal, I suppose, in the comic, but... it had a very short story arc.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
but you could draw that out. You know, you get a good writing staff. I mean, it almost went to television. So a pilot was made, and you got a chance to at least see it. So
It's amazing how we're all in love with the whole futuristic Western thing.
not
You've seen
futuristic, just Western. That was just a Western.
I mean, even still, Six Gun was a little different.
Yeah.
I would consider it science fiction, and you add that to Western, and you're happy. Looking into the Badlands.
I think it's supernatural Western is what you're leaning
Yeah.
towards.
I think it would definitely be a mature audience only.
Yeah, because there's like zombies in it. Each gun has a different power.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dark.
So that leads me to my next question, which I know this from Keith. Me and Keith talked extensively about comic books, but what comic books did you guys currently or did read as a kid?
That is not the question I expected you to ask.
The look on your face.
Okay.
Cool. Like a kid in a candy store. Let's talk.
25 cents.
How does that is not what I was expecting anyone ever to say on this show.
No, I really like that character. The Super Friends did a lot of damage to this.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're kidding.
And it is just now being recovered by some excellent writing in Batman Brave and the Bold and this upcoming Justice League.
75 years last year. They didn't even celebrate it. 75th anniversary of the character. That character and Green Arrow, along with Wonder Woman, all celebrated 75 years last year.
Wow.
Sean.
Well, my mom got me the Archie run of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the early 90s, and I exclusively read that a lot as a kid, and that was like my gateway drug, if you will, of comic books, because I used to just collect those exclusively, and then I went from that to Marvel, and I really enjoyed the more adult storylines that were in it.
Cool.
And then I went from that to Todd McFarlane's Spawn run, and I can kind of graph my maturity as through the years by I started off with the kiddie stuff, and then I went to a little bit more adult oriented, and then like people getting murdered in back alleys and disemboweled by supernatural peoples.
And then I have a surprise for you. Teenage Mutant Ninja co-creator Kevin Eastman is coming to Missouri for Planet Comic-Con.
Really?
Up in Kansas City.
Yes, he is.
That's cool. And I was making a comment about how kiddie the Archie run was,
Mhm.
but like if you read the original ones, that's some dark stuff. Like
Yeah, but
So how are you handling this current about to happen? I think it's next week. Riverdale?
Oh, Riverdale? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
next-
from Greg Berlanti.
Yeah.
The man behind
Have
the
you heard of
Flash and
this?
Arrow and
Oh,
yeah, it's an Archie television series
Oh my
called
God.
Riverdale.
really?
Yeah, it starts next week on the CW.
Yes.
Who do they have playing Archie?
It's an unknown actor.
Show him the trailer while I talk to the rest of
Well,
you.
I'll show him a picture. It's easier.
What about you guys?
Comic books.
Yes.
Well, since I was saying the first ones, my first ones were the Star Wars issues that came out in the early 80s. Huge Star Wars fan. That time, even including now, I'm a big illustrations have to be there, or I can't follow along with the books.
Right.
But
Same.
Spider-Man has always been my number one. For different incarnations they do it. And all his villains, like Carnage and Venom, and I followed the whole storyline.
You ever go get a book and you're stuck on this series and all of a sudden they change the artist and you're like,
Yes.
what did you do to my book?
I know, it's horrible.
And the only use, or sometimes they'll do like one episode with this one artist and you're like, why? And
Yeah.
then so you have to wait like another month before you actually go back to your original artist.
I know. It's discouraging.
I actually, I think I stopped Spider-Man because of that. They changed the artists to what they were doing to almost a cartoonish thing for like, it might have been just one episode, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back over here to DC.
Me too. Yeah, and I think at that time too, whenever I bailed out, was when they had like 4 different titles of Spider-Man going on, like Spectacular, Amazing, and
Actually,
Peter Parker.
Spectacular was funny though.
Yeah.
Spectacular was great. It was funny, but it was nothing to do with Spider-Man
Yeah, right.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all about. And didn't they even have a Peter Parker book at once?
Yes, that was a really good one. That was a good illustrator on that one. Yeah, and then it just happens, it just falls out.
Right.
I guess I'm the oldest one here. I was always a Flash. I bounced back from Superman to Flash, but I really identified with Flash. I'm a Gemini, so that mercurial moving fast thing has always
I think
attracted
the
me.
current status of Flash, and I've actually always thought this. I've always thought Flash was underdone in the first place. The TV series, the original TV series, was great, but I think the timing was bad. But the Flash was so much better than we've ever really gotten. He's one of those characters I always consider as almost too good, too powerful, too dangerous. Kind of like Doctor Strange or Superman. He's too much. The Flash is actually, to me, one of the most powerful beings in the DC universe.
Yeah, you have to plot device why he can't just run in, grab the bomb, and run off. They actually made a joke about that.
Yes.
In one of
The only thing is, I can't stand looking at World 2 Flash's little helmet. I hate his helmet.
That's the golden age Flash.
He looked like the FTD floors.
Yeah, don't say that. Don't say that next month when we meet him at VisionCon.
Flash is a character that has an incredible history and really one of the most fun storylines of any comic book within the DC universe. When I was younger and I found out that Barry Allen really wasn't the first Flash, that actually Jay was, and that's how they designed him to be more like Mercury. That's where that design comes from. The classic comic book that originally started with Jay Garrick and all of that stuff, and the reinvention of the character in the early, let's say about 1962, where they brought in Barry Allen and made him the new Flash and all that stuff. So, wow, the Flash is incredible. It's a great series. Heck of a lot better than what they're doing in Arrow, but that's a different story.
Actually, I've heard, and you and I, like I said, you and I talk about this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much I'm hearing grumblings now coming from the Flash side, which, you and I, when it first came out, season 1, we were already upset about season 3 or season 2 of Arrow. I'm trying to remember.
No, when the Flash hit, they went to season 3 of Arrow, and that's because Greg Berlanti was such a big fan of the character. He grew up, and you can tell. The quality of the show, the way everything went, you could definitely tell that Greg Berlanti was a big fan of the Flash. Unfortunately, I think he's
just already starting to be suspect about Arrow. So going into
I
Flash,
was suspect from almost from the get-go because
I thought season 1 was really good. I thought the casting of Slade was amazing. I like Ben a lot.
Look, it was well plotted. They have good action stuff. They had a great cinematographer, but they took way too many liberties with the story.
Well, of course.
I mean, the series is pretty much unrecognizable from the actual source material.
In love with the fight scenes anymore.
And so when you build it on shaky ground like that, of course it's eventually just going to fail because the comic book fans aren't interested, and the new fans are kind of disappointed in the direction they've taken the show.
But we've had that happen before. Another series that comes to mind, even though to me it was always awesome, there were times when it wasn't, which was Buffy, where they were made.
That's sacrilege.
It was like
sacrilege.
The worst segue ever, but I had to get it.
Yeah, I know it's the worst segue ever.
I had to get it. But honestly, there were times when they took liberties and made changes in Buffy, and I was like, wow.
Well,
the last season was, I was like, where are you going?
There's a difference between, though, Buffy and what we were talking about with Arrow, which is you had Buffy was actually created by the guy that was working the series. He could do anything he wanted versus adapting a character from source material and making huge changes to the way that character actually is, his personality, because Oliver Queen is really one of the nicest people you would ever meet. If he were a real person, he'd be the guy to walk up behind Batman and go,
initially,
he was a hippie.
He was a hippie.
Initially, this current Oliver Queen didn't bug me. And you and I even talked about this. We talked that we were going to get our Oliver Queen eventually. Mm-hmm. Now,
they changed their mind.
Well, not only they changed their mind, I've even doubted the actor. which I very rarely do.
No, I have nothing
What
against
about the actor? What'd you say?
I even have my doubts about him as an actor.
No, I've never doubted the actors that they chose.
Look at the last
I just doubted the source material, the way they wrote the characters for the show, because I think everybody on the show is capable. They are very good actors. They've been asked to really do some incredible stuff.
Yeah.
But